Alrighty, so it's time to do my 50 sub special Q&A. I got a decent amount of questions for you guys, and also I thank you guys so much for 50 subs again. It really does mean a lot to me. So we got a decent amount of questions here. We got, I think like 6 questions. But some of them have more than one question. Alright, so let's start off here with Flair GFX, and he says most anticipated coasters for the Europe trip. I would probably have to say I'm gonna have a video about this in probably maybe tomorrow. I'm gonna have a video that's kind of similar and kind of answer your question, but I'll probably have to say Expedition GeForce, Untamed, Goliath for Wallaby Holland, Ice Speed, and probably Nemesis. That's probably the 5, and the 10 probably Katoon, and stuff like that's probably in there. But yeah, I can't wait for that trip. It's gonna be fantastic. As I said, that trip's pretty much confirmed. It just matters what parks we're going to. Okay, next up we have Roller Coasters Worldwide, and he has a couple questions. And he says number 1 bucket list coaster. I'd probably have to say, now this is an interesting one. I don't want to get too definite, but it's actually Kingda Ka. Now it's a long story to this. I'm gonna keep it short. But the reason why for this is because when I was back in 2011, which I was very young, and I called myself an enthusiast, but obviously I'm a young enthusiast, so I still thought Kingda Ka was the best in the world, and I loved it. I admired that coaster, even though now I know it's not the best in the world. It's still my number 1 coaster, and the same thing, it's kind of like a childhood ride, so that's why I really want to ride it. But yeah, obviously I'll do it on par, and Steel Vengeance aren't that far away, sorry. They look fantastic rides, especially Dirty Dumper. I love launch coasters, and the fact that that thing goes the same, like 3 times Superman speed, or not 3 times, like twice Superman speed in the same amount of time, or even less. It's fantastic. I can't wait to ride that thing. Alright, next up we have favorite wooden roller coaster. Now what's interesting with this, I have not ridden a wooden coaster, but I will be soon. Because remember, there's only 2 wooden coasters in Australia at this point in time, and they're actually one of the most rarest credits you can get in terms of wooden coasters. One of them is the longest operating roller coaster in the world, so it's the oldest coaster in the world at this point in time. It's operating. I know there's one in like America somewhere that's standing but not operating, which was built in like 1908 or something. But the one that I'm going to be riding hopefully soon by the end of this year is the Wild Master Luna Park, which is technically a wooden coaster. But yeah, there's only 3 of those wooden Wild Masters in the world now, and 2 of them are hidden away in Indonesia somewhere. So yeah, this is also a really rare credit. But yeah, it's probably going to be my favorite when I ride it. So I'm just going to say Wild Master Luna Park. Alright, best themed coasters you've ridden. I'd probably have to say it's between Scooby-Doo and Superman. It's a very hard one. I'd probably have to say Scooby-Doo when it was at its prime, before they stripped it out, because that was fantastic. That was the first coaster I've ridden, and I didn't really enjoy it back then, but I think when I got more into it, I enjoyed it, and then I went back, and then the theming was gone. It was just boring. But yeah, but when it was at its prime, definitely Scooby-Doo. Yeah, Superman's not too far off. That the theming on that's great. Alright, best coaster for laterals you've ridden. Probably have to say DC Rivals. The non-inverting loop is just fantastic, and the S curves and that bank turns are just fantastic as well. European, Asian, or American coasters, which do you think are the best? That's an interesting one. I would probably have to say American. The reason for this is I just feel like if you look at like the top 10 coasters in the world, the majority of people, most of them, were like 7 or 6 of them would be American. But I would say Europe's not that far off. And the reason for that is because Europe's been working with a lot of great manufacturers recently, like Mack and definitely I guess Intamin, even though they're not doing the best lately. But obviously with the 2021 coasters for next year, they look fantastic. And everybody's screaming for Intamin to come back to America. But yeah, if you've really seen in the last 5 to 6 years, America's really been fiddling their fingers with B&M, and that's really all they've been doing. Obviously now they kind of with Carowinds bringing out Copperhead Strike, they're now getting Mac over there in the country, so that's good. But I would probably, at this point in time, American coasters. But Europe's not too far away, and Asia, I mean, they have the most coasters of anywhere in the world, mainly because of China. But like the only really the best coasters there is probably the GCIs and the Gravity Groups, there in China, and probably Coaster for the Clouds. That's probably about it. It is what it is, but there's just some decent coasters. May as well parks go to. They have a lot of parks though, but they mainly have golden horses and shit like that, so nothing too special. Anyways, next up we have Carolina Coaster Fan, and he's got a couple questions as well. One of them is least favorite coaster. And this is an interesting one. I mean, it's not really interesting. Right now my favorite, my least favorite coaster, my worst coaster, I like to call it my least favorite. My worst coaster is definitely Escape from Madagascar. That thing is horrible. It's pretty much obviously a family suspended Vekoma, and if you guys have not ridden one of those, it's pretty much like a pain machine. And most favorite launch coaster right now is Men Escape. Love that thing to death. Apart from the restraints, most anticipated park for next year. Very hard question. I'd probably have to say. People would think I would say Europa Park, but I'm going to say Walibi Holland. Now, for the reason for that is Walibi Holland has some great rides, RMC. But I'll probably Europa Park is definitely second. Even though I do love theming and I do love atmosphere of theme parks, I just don't think their lineup isn't as good as Walibi Holland's. And I think Walibi Holland's has some decent theming in the park somewhere, and their coasters like Lost Gravity I've seen has some pretty good theming. Alright, next up we have Powerful Coasters, and he has 3 questions. What is your coaster count? Right now it stands at 17 coasters, 16 coasters, one of the two, unless you count Zamperla for the Zamperla Discos. But yeah, right now that's going to change though. But obviously, in like a month now, actually, almost a month, I will be going to obviously Southeast Asia. I'll be getting 6 credits there, so it'll be now 22, 23, and then obviously Europe. I've calculated to be around about 60 credits, and I've already got some plans for 2020, so that's probably going to be changing to 100 very soon. I'm hoping to hit 100. I'm hoping to hit 100 in the next like 3 years, so that's pretty good. So what's coaster you've been on? As I said, Escape from Madagascar. Best park you've been to? I've only been to 4 parks. If you count Wet n Wild as being one, because I do have a coaster credit there, which I have not gotten yet actually. But probably the best park I've obviously been to is Movie World. Dream World isn't too far away if they actually invest in a great ride. In a coaster. I haven't got a coaster in 2011, so that's almost 8 years. God damn. Yeah. So if they invest more into the park, which apparently they're going to be doing, I think that park can definitely rival Movie World again, even with rivals being there. But yeah, Movie World has great theming, and the 2 best coasters in Australia. So what's not to love? All right. Next up, we got the last 2 questions here. From Coasters UK. Well, here's one question. Number 1 bucket list coaster, as I said, it is King of the Car, but I guess you could also count Dodonpa and Steel Engines in there. And last questions are from Austin Woods, and he has, what is your coaster count? As I said, 16, 17, right about there, but that will be changing soon. Intamin or RMC? RMC, even though I've not ridden one, I've ridden some Intamins, but I haven't ridden an RMC, but I just, mainly just because I'm so anticipated for one. But yeah, they're 2 great manufacturers, and New Intamin has been really slacking recently, obviously with 2021, that might change with those fantastic coasters coming to Walibi Build and Park Asterix. That might change with the new designers, but they look great manufacturers, and RMC has a lot of potential, especially with most coasters getting most coasters getting a lot of praise. So that looks great. Mac or GCI? Probably have to say Mac. I mean, I'm a little bit biased, but GCI looks like a great manufacturer. B&M or Morgan? I'll probably have to say B&M. I haven't been on a B&M or a Morgan. But just B&M, just they're a little bit more smoother rides. But the Morgan Hypercoasters look great, like especially obviously Phantom's Revenge, fantastic. That beats most B&Ms. But yeah, B&M overall is probably a greater manufacturer. Anyways, that is it for this Q&A. Thank you guys so much for 50 subs. and he's to 100 subscribers. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.